like I like to think of them as difficulty modifiers, not disabilities. But I get the where she was coming from. I think from just a
I mean,
context, like if you look at what she says, like and you put some
If you,
grace
if you
to
watch
it,
the whole clip, not
right.
the segments that people take out and make up.
Right.
The whole
If you look at what she's fully saying, like I'm not attributing any malintent, but then focusing in on just the concept of what is a situational disability, and maybe that's a term that could be reevaluated because it doesn't matter who you are, because this is the age of the internet, and you can believe whatever you want, but that doesn't change how humans hear things. And so no matter what, you're going to have people who are going to hear that and go, child disability, like, or having a child is like a disability, and you can't solve for that. You can't fix that problem. There's no amount. So it's like, well, all right, well, maybe it's time to
but yeah,
reevaluate.
She's not exactly wrong for using the term though, because
No.
that is what the literal term is called. Like,
Well,
as much as people might hate
term.
on it, but yeah,
it's
the technical term.
You're not gonna. There are people who've already come out and be like, I've been in the industry for this long, never heard that term before. And so it is something that could be more coastal. It could be something, more larger company, because smaller dev teams don't have people who are like, well, okay, how do we structure all the,
No, she's a huge accessibility advocate, so she's going to be in tune with a lot more lingo than most people, even that may be in industries that are affected. I will tell you, as somebody that got my master's degree in architecture, the thing that I believe America does better than any other country, I know that if you watch any of our political ads or any of our election cycle, we believe it's everything. But when you actually sit down and like evaluate from objective measures, means and measures, like there are a lot of health outcomes and education outcomes and things that we're not better. We're not like, we're just not. We're doing fine, but like we're not the best. But actually, one of the things that we do is our ADA is fairly unique within the world. We have more accessibility federally protected. That doesn't mean that system's perfect. Doesn't mean it's flawless. And the word accessibility and the word disability is very, very broad. And so it has to do with, how does signage look? Not everybody has the same vision, especially when you start to have things like you're driving at night.
Right.
Or you're driving in busy trafficked areas where there are other things that you're paying attention to. That sign is not your sole focus. This is not an eye exam at a doctor. This needs to be something that is perceivable by all forms of eyesight in all driving conditions under any amount of stimulus. And that's very, very different than an eye exam in a well-lit room and a colorblind test independent of the letters. That is very different. And so when you start to talk about things like pregnancy, things like right now, my ankle, I'm having to park as close as I can to handicap parking, because we have handicap parking in front of all establishments in the United States. There's certain sizes and rules with that, but I don't have the tag for my car because I didn't go to a doctor and get a temporary tag. So I'm parking as close as I can to that because I'm having trouble getting over curbs with my ankles, because both ankles have tendonitis.
Yeah.
So I'm having to take the handicap ramp. There are a lot of parts of the world where handicap ramps don't exist. So to have a guaranteed 1 to 12, I think, is the grade, makes it really easy for me, because I don't have to be able to lift my toes very well to make it up that.
Exactly.
And that's a disability. Like, that's what that is for the next up to 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
I have a lack of ability. Compared to a typical healthy human. In my case, it's going to go away, and it's not that debilitating. If I had to make it up a curb, I could.
Right.
But like my grandmother couldn't. Like she can't. My dad with Parkinson's and his walker, like he can't. He needs pavement to be level. He needs pavement. And so when you talk about audio, visual, physical disabilities, like there are things like that. So to say a game needs to be able to pause, because there are people that would need to be able to consume this content in a way that it could be paused, because there are things in their life that don't allow them to go guarantee and promise that for the next hour they're not going to have to pause, is a valid concern. So if there's a lingo for that,